All right, guys, what is going on? What is good? What is good? Welcome to the live stream, dog. Welcome to Philosophical Friday, if you will. I got something pretty special planned for you. Haters not gonna like this one. The haters are not gonna like this one. I can promise you that. And you're gonna find out why soon enough. You know what I mean? So anyway, I could talk a lot of shit today, but you know, I gotta remind myself to not do that. You know what I mean? Gotta remind myself not to talk shit as much as I could. Right? As much as I could. You get the best entries, the best exits. You call and trade the biggest moves. You drive the newest, some of the most fastest fucking cars. People still hate you, dog. People still hate you. That's crazy, isn't it? That's a fucking wild concept to me. You know? But the biggest thing to that, honestly, you know, oh nice, my friend just posted an old photo. You know, the biggest key with that is they hated Jesus too. Any president, any leader, Gandhi, people hated fucking Gandhi too. You know? So it's like, it doesn't matter what you do, man. People are still gonna find a way to criticize, you know what I'm saying? You win the Super Bowl, they still criticize you. You win the NBA championships, they still criticize you. So, but the journey continues. The trading continues. You know, it all still continues. Like the way silver futures are almost at 39. You know? You know what I mean? But, well, at least for the futures, 38.36 for Oanda. Libra, I'm not in anything today. Well, I'm not in any futures positions today. So, I had a good week. I didn't want to screw anything up today, so I let it go. And to be fair, I'm glad I did. Because I looked at the indices today and I really did not like what I saw. So, it's fine. I had to gas the car up a little bit. I did Corvette Conversations episode 4, which was a very brief introduction into what I'm going to show you today. And then I was working on that presentation for like the last hour or so. And now we're here. So I feel like with the indices, like we'll go take a look at it. I honestly feel like if I did trade today, I probably would have taken a loss. To be fair. The Dow has got to be the most horrendous asset of all time. Of all fucking time. You know? But I definitely don't like how we left the lows down there. And maybe there's something different in regular trading hours that I didn't see, or, you know, I haven't really done a full analysis, but I know a lot of you were looking at these highs, and I know a lot of people were looking at these highs as well. So, it's possible, but I couldn't care less. Couldn't care less. Dang, we can't even get 20 people on here, dog. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's like almost the better trades that I show, the less people show up. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel, chat. like I show better and better trades over time, right? And obviously, like, you know, regular trades and stuff too, a little bit of drawdown, whatever, decent exit, stuff like that. But then, like, you nail the high of the week to the tick, right? I exited at the high of the week to the very tick, which I've never done before, by the way. You know, and it's like, oh, well, no, I don't need to learn something like that. So people just don't show up. That's wild to me. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. Anyway, but I have a smaller camera today. It's a little bit wider too, like your mom. No, I know, Roger. I know. I'm trying to give it a few minutes so that way more people come on here, but I know you guys are eager and ready to learn. Most of you are ready to learn. Sometimes people just tune in to criticize or find something I said wrong or some shit. But it just goes to show, man, that, you know, we fucking rock over here. You know how good you gotta be to have the fucking haters watch too? You gotta be pretty goddamn good, dude. So, anyway, what's good? Mason, Tasha, Roger, Ram, Pop 2020, Eberneth, Anton, Lee Bright, Alex C. I agree, Dow is definitely trash. I feel like it is going to drop off the list one day. I won't do it. I'm too sentimentally attached to my watch list to let it go. But if there ever was one to sacrifice, that would be the one to skedaddle. And then we would just do relative strength with ES and NQ, and that's it. What's good, DJ? What's good, Lewis, Gessner? Okay, now we got a few people on here. Now we got a little bit more trickling in today. No worries. No worries. All right, so you guys ready? Drop some ones in the chat if you guys are ready for keys to elite performance. Now, it is going to be a note-heavy day. Okay, maybe I forgot to mention that earlier. Drop some ones in the chat. Let's give it like 1 or 2 minutes. Grab a pen. Grab a sheet of paper. I know 2020. They fucking can't stand me, dude. They can't stand me. Sometimes it be your own students, too. I never understood that either. I never did. I was like, bro, I made you. Part of you, at least. And you hate me. That's crazy. But hey, man, you know, people like Nero exist. People like Marcus Aurelius exist, you know, or existed rather. You know, there are, I guess, levels to personal development, you know, and some people can't handle their own results. I don't know. I don't know, man. Can't relate. Can't relate. What's good, Torty? And all right, you guys ready? Oh, I'm gonna record this too. I'm gonna clip this as well. All right, keys to elite. Oh, it kind of glitched right there for a minute. Keys to elite performance. Can you guys drop some twos if we can do a sound check and a visual check real quick? Drop some twos if you guys can see and hear into the chat. What's good, Convicted Capitalist? What's good, Crystal? All right, appreciate the twos. Mason, I know Mason's always dropping twos, right? Like page 222 from Mark Douglas's Disciplined Trader, right? Always take partials. Yeah. What's good, Aquazy? What's good, Pablos? Yeah. You thought I forgot, huh? Nope. All right. Keys to elite performance. So what does elite mean? What does elite mean? Real textbook, Google definition. Elite means a select group that is superior in terms of ability or qualities to the rest of a group or society. Now, I know that sounds slightly egotistical. I know sometimes I come off that way too. But again, when you top tick Thursday and it ends up being the top tick of the week, nobody else took a better exit than that. Unless you're another person that also got that same price point, yes. But that wasn't better. We're even. But everybody else that got in one or that got out one tick below or anything below that, I had a better exit. Right? So that's not egotistical. That's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we have to filter a little bit. We got to understand context, right? Time, price, and context, baby. What is the context? Okay. The point is not to show off. I don't trade to show my entries and exits, right? Sometimes I take a losing trade too. So maybe I take 2 or 3 losing trades in a row or 2 or 3 break evens in a row. It happens, right? I don't go into a trade thinking, all right, I'm going to record this for everybody else. Or let me take a really, really good trade, you know, so I can show off. That's not the point. Obviously, the point of trading is to make money. Everything else after that is extra. You know what I mean? So it's not to be elite for the eliteness sake. It's just to say, okay, if we study the people that are elite, right? Like the Kobe Bryants of trading and, you know, stuff like that, if you will, how can we get there? So it's not just me saying like, hey, I'm elite, I'm the greatest trader. I never said that. I never said that. Okay. But there are trades, yes, that I've taken that are like, none of your mentors can replicate that and haven't. And probably never will. And that's just being fair. Okay. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just trying to be fair. I would be an asshole if I didn't show you these things. Okay. Yeah, you should read that again, Mason. It's a good book. So anyway, number 1 is a willingness to learn, or for short, coachability, right? It was either Jim Rohn or one of the other self-help gurus in today's world. Coachability index, right? Maybe it was Brian Tracy. I don't remember. But I know they talked about the coachability index, right? How coachable are you? You have to have a willingness to learn. People hate what they don't understand. That's why they criticize, right? Like sometimes people will argue with me about a trade, and then eventually, right, or inevitably, it goes to where I was going to, where I pointed to, right? And people do not understand that, or they don't understand my entries. They think I'm entering late or whatever, but I'm still wicking in, right? Yet people still want to criticize that for whatever reason, okay? And it's because they don't know. They lack understanding. And it's okay. We're all ignorant in something. I don't know shit about aerodynamics. I don't know shit about space, you know, engineering or whatever, flight mechanics and all that shit. There's a lot of things I don't know anything about. You know what I mean? But I know that I don't know. Okay? Humble yourself. You don't know everything. I just made that a point. I don't know everything. And of course, I don't know everything about trading either. As much as you guys think, maybe, no. There are still things that I'm learning as well. Okay? So you have to humble yourself. You don't know everything. Ask for help. Just like Marcus Aurelius, right? In Meditations, like a soldier storming a wall. Yada, yada. Ask for help. You have a community here. You have me. You have a fucking chat box on your screen. You can ask questions. We have a charts chat. You can post charts. We have a general chat. You can say what you got to say in there, right? Ask for help. There's 1,000 and some change videos on this YouTube channel. Go help yourself. Learn from your mistakes. You have to view things non-judgmentally, right? Law number 35. And I am going to point out a few more laws here, okay? So if you're not paying attention, which we're going to get to in a minute too, which is funny, but if you're not paying attention, if you're not at least writing down the main points, at least write down the laws to review, okay? Because there's a few more. But none of this stuff is new to you. It shouldn't be, especially if you've seen the 48 Laws video, okay? Stop reinforcing negative self-beliefs, like you're not good enough, like you're stupid, like whatever. That's law number 46, right? Law 46. So these points right here encapsulate a willingness to learn, aka coachability. People don't like what they don't understand. That's why they criticize. You have to humble yourself and realize that you don't know everything. When you understand that you don't know everything, you can ask for help, right? Learn from your mistakes as you go along. View your performance non-judgmentally, okay? Because when you judge things, you're looking at something that's clouded, right? That's why they say clouded judgment. But when you look at things without judgment, you can see it clearly, okay? And I got that from, I know I talk about this book a little bit later in the presentation too, but The Inner Game of Tennis by W. Timothy Galloway, right? That's where that comes from, viewing things non-judgmentally, because it's clarity, okay? Don't think, oh, this was a fucked up ass entry, or it might have been, but don't look at it that way. Look at the price action for what it is, what happened. And then you can go, okay, well, I got this wrong. I got that wrong. Now I can learn. I got in too early. I got in too late, held on too long, whatever. Okay. You guys with me so far? Drop some threes in the chat. Now we got like 40 people on here. Drop some threes in the chat if you guys are good so far. Okay, so to encapsulate coachability, we all start ignorant. It's true. When you're a baby, you don't know shit. You don't know language. You don't know how to walk. Right? We shit ourselves wearing diapers and whatnot. We don't know anything about anything. We're absolutely 100% ignorant. We barely know how to eat and breathe. Right? That's about it. We have to become humble to admit that we don't know. Then we become curious. If I'm ignorant in aerodynamics, okay, I have to humble myself and say, okay, I don't know about aerodynamics. Then it's curiosity. Well, I want to learn about aerodynamics, right? The power might go out, by the way, because it's storming here, just so you know. So if it cuts off, that's why. But we become curious. Okay, well, let me read a book. Let me watch YouTube videos. Let me take a course or whatever on aerodynamics. Let me figure some shit out. And then correctiveness. Maybe you're building model planes and whatever. And so you're studying aerodynamics and how it works. Okay, well, I can make the plane faster if I, change the curves, right? That's how a Corvette is made. It's all, the outside is all aerodynamics for like airflow, okay? So once you do that and you're in your correctionness, right? Your correctiveness, you start to tweak it and go, okay, well, I can make it faster. I can make it lighter. I can do this. Then you get to elite performance. All right. Number 2, follow the rules, also known to shorten discipline, right? Discipline. Stick to what works. Avoid changing it. Okay. People still ask me about indicators and whatnot. Bro, look at my trades. No indicators. Okay. No VWAP. No Bollinger Bands. No volume. Nothing. Nothing. Okay. I'm the indicator. Okay. And you see the results of that. Yes, sometimes I take bad trades. Sometimes the entries aren't always elite. But yesterday, monster. Okay? And I'm not trying to, you know, tweak things or change things. Okay. So there you have it. Do hard things. That's how you build discipline. Law 42. Do hard things. Yesterday, I shared on my Instagram story, right? I was walking around my neighborhood, or right outside the neighborhood, with my weighted vest on. It had rained a little bit prior, so it was muggy outside. I was tired. I really didn't want to do it, you know? But it's like, you know, you continue to take really, really good trades. You continue to build a community. You continue to make money. You're losing a little bit of weight. Like, why are you stopping now? Like, get your fucking ass outside. So it's like, all right, put the weighted vest on, do what I gotta do. You know, I don't like to do it. I don't want to do it. I'd much rather be inside with the air conditioning, watching Netflix, or building lesson plans and stuff. But there's a time and place for that. And there's a time and place to do things that you don't want to do. Avoid impulse decisions. This also comes from Marcus Aurelius, right? No random actions, none based on underlying principles. You're supposed to hold on to trades for the equal highs, but you're getting out at the 50% level, or you're getting out at above an old high because you don't think that the trade's going to go there. You don't partial, right? You move your stop too early. All these mistakes. And again, guys, I do it too. I hardly ever do it now, but as you know, throughout my journey, the last fucking 10 and a half years, 11 years, however long it's been, I had to do those mistakes, and I had to correct them too. And that's why I tell you about them. So as much as you want to be impulsive, don't. That's why I always say, guys, emotions don't matter. Actions do. You could be the most chill person on the planet. You could be the most angry person on the planet too. Both of you can still hold a fucking trade as long as you don't press the button. You know what I mean? And that's the difference. It's the action part of it. And yes, you need the discipline to not do certain things, right? The discipline to not act on your emotions and act impulsively. Okay, some of the rules, right? Small risk, large reward. You let the math work for you over time. That's law 19 and law 26. I don't remember the names off the top of my head. I mean, I know we could look it up, but because I had the PDF up earlier to reference these, but they're there, right? Law 42, law 19, law 26. High probability setups. Quality, not quantity. That's law number 8, right? I don't know who it was, and I honestly didn't even know what to say in the Discord, right? Because one person was like, hey, I've lost like 7 combines, and I'm on my last $1,000 of risk on this other one, or they lost 6 and they're on their 7th or something along those lines. And they're just like, you know, I'm taking a break, good luck. And it's like, I don't know what to say to those types of messages, right? When people come to me and they're like, oh, you know, John, I passed another combine, I took a withdrawal, I did this, I did that, or whatever, right? I love that. And that tells me that you follow the fucking rules. You know what I mean? You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're doing what works, and you're not trying to change it, right? But when people come to me, or they go into the chat, and it doesn't happen very often, but when they go into the chat and they're like, oh, well, I'm fucked, I've lost all this, you know, I'm done. This is exactly the things that, like, you're not doing. You're not following the rules. You're not taking small risk, large reward, like good RR setups, basically, right? A little bit of risk, a lot of reward. You're not taking high probability setups. You're probably trading quantity and not quality. And I know this because I've been there too, right? And so, again, when it comes to those kind of messages, I don't know what to say. What do I say? You know what I mean? I've given you the rules. I've told you what to do. You just don't do it. I don't know what else to tell you. I have no words. That's it. So now we'll move on, okay? Because honestly, I don't know what to say to that. Okay, here's like another little timeline. Learn the rules, right? Go through the content. There's the free beginner series. There's, man, I've made so much fucking content, dude, that, I mean, dude, I put MLMs to shame, dog. It's fucking disgusting. Okay? I've given you the free beginner series, right? The Smart Money Sniper course, the how-to series, the member only series, market reviews, and even like the heavy hitters playlist. I've given you all that stuff so you can learn the rules. Okay? Go through the videos, take your notes. Okay? Believe it or not, you can watch a video more than once. You know that? You can watch a video more than once. You can watch it a second time. You can watch it a third time. I've done it. Not my own videos, but you know, when I was growing up as a trader, I've seen webinars or like Mark Douglas's videos, how to think like a professional trader. Dude, I've gone through that like 5, 6, 7 times, maybe even more. You know what I mean? Because you learn new shit the second and third time around. It's the same with books. Don't just read something one time or watch a video even this video, one time and think, okay, well, I got it. No, you don't. Unless you have photographic memory, you don't have shit. You got to take the content, right? And it's like a seed. You got to plant that seed. And a plant does not turn into a tree in a couple of days. The last couple of weeks of a bamboo tree, maybe, but we're not a fucking bamboo tree, you know? And yeah, Mason, that's the formula for high probability trading is time, price, and context, the right context. Libra said, I thought I was the only one listening to the Mark Douglas video every week. Nah, bro, why do you think that thing has so many views? You know? But anyway, let's get back to the point. You got to learn the rules, right? So once you know the rules, you go through the content, you take your notes, or maybe you're on the live streams 4 times a week for free, baby. Come on. And you go, okay, I've learned them. Now I know them. And the discipline is going to be the difference between following the rules, which is someone that is disciplined would do. That's how you see success. Real simple. Buy low, sell high. Low risk, high reward setups. Boom, you're profitable. It's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Okay? Or you don't have discipline. You break the rules because you're undisciplined, and that's failure. Okay? And again, not to like beat a fucking dead horse here, but that person in our Discord, right? Undisciplined. That leads to failure. Okay? I teach you these things because this is how it works. Okay? I don't just make shit up. I don't make shit up, dude. I look at my own trading. I look at successful business people, entrepreneurs. You know, I see, okay, how do professional athletes go about their business? How do they practice? How do they think? Right? I read a fuck ton of books, dude. You know what I mean? I go through a lot of information, a lot of trades, and I see what works and what doesn't work. And guess what? I take the things that don't work and I throw it in the trash and I never tell you about them. Yeah, use a VWAP RSI fucking 80-20, you know? No. I show you the good shit. That's why I take trades the way that I take them. And every once in a while, they blow everything else out of the water. Even ICT. Yes. I know. Not always. It ain't all the time. All right. But every once in a while, even my entry and exit puts ICT to shame. And I'm not afraid to say it because I've already fucking done it. I didn't say it beforehand, but afterwards, right? You never went through argument. You went through action. Law number 9, 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. Come on. All right. Number 3 is experience. Drop some 4s in the chat if you guys are still with me so far. We've covered a willingness to learn. We've covered following the rules. right? Discipline, a little bit on how to get it. Now we're into there's 5 parts here. And number 3 is experience. Okay, appreciate the 4s in the chat. Thank you. Experience. You have to put in the time. There's expediting, there's expedition, but not shortcuts. So what does that mean? It means your journey as a trader is going to take a long time. When are you going to be profitable? I don't know. Could be 6 months, could be a year, could be 5 years. Who fucking knows? Okay? It's different for every single person. But whatever that length of time is, can it be, I got my mic here. Can it be shortened a little bit? Yes. Because you're listening to the right people, hopefully, right? You're listening to the right people. You're doing the right things. You're reading, you're studying, you're journaling, right? You're managing your risk. You're following the 48 laws, okay? And if you do that, you will see success. I just can't promise success because I can't control your discipline. I control my discipline. I don't control yours, okay? So there is no direct shortcut directly to profitability, right? But we can shorten the process to some degree. So that's what I mean by that, okay? Correcting more mistakes and improving on your strong points over time. That's a big one right there. Over time, not overnight, okay? Over time leads to elite performance. Law 44. Right, Bonnie? I know you meant to put 4 because I said it, but you typed 44. And that was the law that came up for her. Law 44. Right? Bruce, Nicholas. So, you guys weren't here for the intro. That's why I'm saying hello to you. Experience is the greatest teacher. Journal the journey. Okay? Dude, if I showed you my journal from like the beginning, oh man, this shit is laughable. You know, I was not very good. And there was times I was super excited. Oh man, I took this badass trade, man. If only I could replicate this, man. If I could only ever take this type of trades, you know? And then of course there's a bunch of pages and oh man, I got my fucking ass kicked today. I don't know what I got wrong. I'm frustrated. I'm trying to figure this shit out, you know? Good times, not so good times, and that's part of the journey. We learn to love it, right? Amor fati. But that's the greatest teacher. Okay. Now, sometimes in my head, right? I'm not afraid to say it. Sometimes in my head, I think I'm the greatest teacher. Honestly, I really do. I see other people's YouTube channels. I look at my YouTube channel. I know the views may not be the same, but it's like, bro, my content, like, come on. I'm like, yeah, this is good shit. But even myself, I'm not your greatest teacher. I'm not your greatest mentor. The market will be. The market will show you more. The market will tell you more than anything I ever could. My music is fucked up. Okay, got that working again. Does that make sense? And be patient. Law 37. Be patient. All right. So under experience, put in the time. You can shorten it, but there's no shortcuts. It's not a direct path. It's just a slightly less long of a path. Okay. Correcting mistakes and improving on your strong points over time. That's what leads to elite performance. Experience will be your greatest teacher. Your journal will help with that. Okay. And of course, be patient. Law 37. Okay. And here's a simple visual. I know some people are visual learners. You may not like notes. I'm kind of that way too. I don't mind notes, but I like visuals too. There it is. Okay. Over time, right? We all start, technically there should just be dirt because the seed is under the ground, but whatever. We start off knowing a little bit, then we gain some experience, then we get some more experience, so on and so forth. Okay. You don't get to this, the elite side, over here. That's not how that works. Okay. So you guys with that? Do you guys know how to take screen? If you ever you're welcome to screenshot stuff, okay? If you don't know how to do it, it's the print screen button on your computer. You're allowed to screenshot. I don't care. Appreciate that, Roger. The flower can't bloom without some rain. That's a good quote, Mason. That's a good one. I like that. But there you go. Okay, over time. All right, number 4. Number 4 is focus. Okay, number 4 is focus. Eliminate distractions. Again, with the Marcus Aurelius, right? It's almost like I wanted you to read Meditations the last 3, maybe 4 years. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe you have I have a big watch list, I'll be honest. But if you have too big of a watch list, or if you're multitasking, like maybe you're trying to watch the stream, but you're also on TikTok or whatever, you're multitasking and you wonder why your results are what they are. You're all over the place. Law number 34. Relax concentration. Okay, for those of you that did not see this earlier and you're not going to go back and rewatch the rest of it, I shared a book called The Inner Game of Tennis, right? This is something that Casper SMC had posted, I don't know, like a month ago, and I saw it. I was like, yeah, I'll read it, and it's pretty good. So that's what he talks about, relaxed concentration, which in other words is you're focused without trying to concentrate, without trying too hard. And there is such a thing as trying too hard, especially in trading, because the element of time you don't control, and price too. You don't control price either. But you know, if you're like, so it's Friday, for example, and imagine for a second that you take a loss and you're like, okay, this is stupid. I want to take another trade because I want to get my loss back. You want a revenge trade, basically. Well, now you got to wait till Monday. You can't just, you know, if it's, let's say 245, you can't just jump back into the market because there's only 15 minutes left in the day. You know, so you got to wait. You know what I mean? And a lot of us, we try too hard. We want to get right back in, or we want to switch our bias and go the opposite direction like I teach you to do, but doing it properly and not doing it out of revenge. Okay? So again, this is very hard to explain, and it's very hard to put into words. And I'm limited in my English as well, but it's a relaxed concentration. You're focused without trying to concentrate, without trying too hard. So when I'm looking to enter a trade, or when I'm doing certain analysis, bro, I'm completely immersed into the charts. I'm not thinking about the haters that are trying to talk shit, that are jealous and all that fuckery, right? I'm not thinking about the women who cheated on me. I'm not thinking about the people who tried to get me kicked out of the military. Okay? I'm not thinking about people who did me wrong and all that shit. I'm not thinking about none of that. I'm focused. All of that stuff is so outside, it doesn't exist to me. What only exists is the candlesticks, the time price, and the context. The two monitors right in front of me. That's it. That's all that exists. I think about nothing else. Now, once I'm in the trade, or when the trade is done and I can, you know, relax or whatever, fully relax after a break even or a partial or whatever, then I can start maybe focusing on other things. If I want to let the trade run and go do something else, yeah, that's different. But in those few minutes, 15, 30 minutes of actual relaxed concentration, and I'm not trying, it's just natural, that's what does it. Okay, that's trading in the zone. Mark Douglas, trading, that's being in the zone. The thing about being in the zone, though, is it's not like being high. Okay, it's not like that at all. But in the way that a high only lasts so long before you're sober again, that's how trading in the zone is. You don't just trade in the zone, like you're in the zone, and then you just stay there. You could be in the zone for like 15 minutes, and not see it until the next day or the next week. You know what I mean? If you've ever played sports before, like in high school or I don't know, college or some shit, or maybe you just do sports as an adult, you probably get what I'm talking about, where you're so immersed in the game, you can kind of see all the players on the field at once. You kind of know what's going to happen next, and you can correct your course and stuff or whatever. And again, you're not thinking about anything else. You're not looking at the scoreboard. You're not thinking about, you know, what you want for dinner. You know what I mean? You're not thinking about anything, just the game. And that is how you get to that performance. But then once the game is over and your heart rate comes back down and everything, it's all done for, then you can start, okay, yeah, let's go for pizza and ice cream or whatever. That's the thing, man. And again, it's so hard to teach that, to put that into words and how to get there outside of what I've already taught you. But does it, chat, drop some fives if that makes sense. Okay? I'm trying to explain it the best way that I can. Being in the zone is not forever. It lasts a few minutes, probably like 45 minutes at the most. And anything else after that, it fizzles, it fades. Now being stoned, I mean, shit, you smoke enough weed, I mean, you can be high for a while, you know? But eventually, yeah, it falls off and then you're sober again. But the zone is similar. But you're not on drugs. You're immersed in what you're doing, whether it's sports or trading. Some of you probably get in the zone at the gym too. You're counting your reps. You're mustering your energy to lift whatever the fuck you're trying to lift. You know, that's being in the zone too. Yeah, Lee, right? I agree. And I think he says that in the inner game of tennis as well. Lee Bright said, the thing with the zone, as soon as you realize you're in it, you're out of it. Yes. Yes. Lee Bright said, I used to be the superstar of my high school. I believe you. Most people lie about that stuff, but I believe you. Only because of your trading and your leadership. But I believe you. It's extreme concentration and attention to detail. I experienced it for the first time playing ball. Right, Alex. And it's the same thing in trading. It's the same thing when you're in front of the screen. So while I'm all for having, you know, chats and Telegram channels and whatever, you know, having a phone, social media right next to you, this is why we talk so much about focus and eliminating distractions, because all of those things are pulling you away from the zone. Flow state, I guess, is another word too, if you like. That's fine too. As in time slowed down, tunnel vision. Yeah, Nicholas. Sometimes I could see how time slowed down, but sometimes I can see how time speeds up too. You know, you're into something, and next thing you know, it's 11 p.m. I haven't eaten all day. You know, because you're having fun and you're doing what you love. But I can agree, it sort of goes either way. It either slows down or really speeds up. I've always loved this quote from Seneca too. To be everywhere is to be nowhere. To be everywhere is to be... You can't be in the zone and focus on 3 or 4 different things at once. Now, let me provide a little bit more detail. What I'm saying more specifically is you can't be into trading and then try to be in the chats and have a conversation over here and try to plan some other shit, and you're in different subjects. No, you cannot be in the zone in one thing and then be everywhere else too. That doesn't work. Now, that's not to say you can't analyze the dollar index, Euro futures and British pound futures and Euro GBP to get a feel for, okay, well, if the dollar is, you know, this and the Euro is that and British pound is over here, then that means Euro GBP XYZ. That's different. That's trading and you're connecting correlated markets. That's one subject. But I just gave you a big fucking key right there in case you missed it. So what I'm saying is you can't be like, okay, well, what are the index futures doing? Okay, well, what are currencies doing? All right, well, what are metals doing? What is this doing? If there's no interconnectedness, then when you're switching your focus from index futures over into currencies, well, now you've neglected what's going on over there to look over here. And then people wonder why they miss opportunities. Oh, well, I didn't see that. Well, you would have saw it if your dumbass would have focused, but you're trying to be all over the place. And look what happened. You were trying to be everywhere and got nowhere. I didn't take any trades today. Well, yeah, because you're what is it called? Squirrel brain, bro. Your TikTok brain. You can't focus. Right. Okay. Now, and this is why I opened up with this earlier. Focus also means to tune out the haters. Because yes, people talk shit. You would think, oh, John takes really, really good trades. Let me go see how he does it. He teaches for free. He gives out, directional bias. He gives out continuations. He gives out this. He gives out that. Sometimes he's wrong. He ain't always right. But he's pretty decent, right? But yet people will still be jealous or say whatever they have to say because of a poor mindset. And it's probably a lack of results too. You can be mad at me all you want. And you know what? That's not going to help your trading, bro. Man, John's out here killing it. And I'm missing trades. I'm getting it wrong. You're a dumbass, that's why. And you need to fix yourself. I'm not saying that you got to learn from me, but at least focus on your own shit. You know what I mean? So, don't be jealous. It's not a good trait on anybody. All right. Honestly, I didn't know what to use for a visual on focus, so I just went with a little target. Okay. You want to hit your target. If your target is being the best version of yourself, or if your target is, elite status trading, meaning in at the low of day, out at the high of the day, or whatever that means for you. Okay. To not miss your target, you need to be looking at your target. Okay. You guys ready for number 5, the last one? We're almost done with the session today. Drop some 6s in the chat. Drop a 6 if you guys are still here. Because I know sometimes the numbers, they fluctuate. People come in, they leave, whatever. It's fine. But sometimes I need to know if you guys are still here. Because some of you are going to come ask me in the Discord or in a private message, about something that I covered today, and I'm not going to fucking answer you. I don't want to sound rude, but this is true. All right. Here we go. Number 5. This is our last point for the day. Number 5, confidence. Okay. Confidence. You gain confidence through winning. Okay. This is my opinion. Okay. You may have a different opinion. This is my opinion. Okay. I gain confidence, a lot of confidence, through winning. Okay. If I wasn't confident about my driving, I wouldn't have bought a brand new sports car. Simple as that. If I wasn't confident in taking trades, I wouldn't trade. If I wasn't confident in calling directional bias for you all, and even in other chats, I wouldn't do it. Thank you, Anton. Appreciate that. But I build my confidence through winning. Okay? That's why I call trades every week. Every week, baby. Because the markets repeat themselves. And I understand that. You know what I'm saying? So build through winning. Start small and work your way up. Trade micros before you go to E-minis. Bro, E-minis will rip your fucking face off. Okay? I don't always trade Nasdaq futures. I don't always trade ES futures. Sometimes I do go down to the micros. There's no shame in that. You can make money trading micros too. Of course, if you capture a whole day's range, you'll make more, but okay, now I'm being an asshole. But start small and work your way up. Instead of trying to capture a whole day's range, how about you try and capture half? Instead of trying to capture half, maybe try catching at least a good move. If you can't hold trades, learn to hold a trade for the very first available high and then take partials. Right? And then eventually you learn, okay, well, it hit a new high and I partialed, or I got out of the trade because I just wanted the bread. But now it ran all the way to the equal highs. I knew it was going to go there, but I didn't hold on to it. Right. You have to build your way up to hold trades longer and longer and longer. Right? That's why I still have silver. We called the low like 2 or 3 years ago, however long it's been. Y'all saw what silver did today. Did you not? Anyway, law number 30. Okay. The biggest takeaway for confidence, understand, I go into stuff with confidence because I know that I'm going to act in my best interest by following the rules. I said this in my my Corvette Conversations episode a few hours ago. I know if I take a loss, it won't blow the account. I won't lose either of the funded accounts, right? It doesn't make me a bad trader to lose a trade. If the risk is managed, who fucking cares? I'm giving myself permission to take the trade. Worst case scenario, I lose what? 1%? What do you think the max daily loss limit is for? It's there to protect you. Fucking use it. So if you know that it's there, if your max daily loss limit, let's just say for example, is $500, right? And you put on a trade and it's only $200 of risk. What the fuck are you afraid of? What are you scared of? You take a loss, you still got $300 of risk capital in a day. You don't have to continue, but if you wanted to, you still could. You're giving yourself breathing room. So why are you worried about taking a loss? And when you're not worried about taking a loss, that gives you the confidence to press the fucking button. Either market that bitch, market order, or you can press the button to put in a buy limit or a sell limit, whatever. That's still pressing buttons too, right? It's confidence through winning and knowing that you're going to act in your best interest by following the rules. If you're undisciplined, that's where you should be scared. You should struggle with confidence if you know you can't follow your rules. That's why you're not confident. You do not trust yourself to act in your own best interest. Nope. I'm going to trade without a stop loss. Nope. I'm going to widen the stop. Nope. I'm going to over leverage because I need to make all this money back. You're fucking up. Knowing that mistakes are part of the process and a mistake or two doesn't define who you are. One loss or even 2 or 3 losses in a row, that's not going to end your career. Now, if you put your whole account onto it, yeah, you're fucked. That's why you don't do that. It doesn't make you a bad person. Doesn't make you a bad trader. It doesn't define who you are as a person. Maybe you had a losing week or maybe even a losing month. Maybe you're a beginner and you haven't seen any success at all. That doesn't make you a bad person. Okay? Your identity doesn't come from one losing trade. Okay? Now, if you fucking murder somebody, yeah, that's a little bit different. You're a murderer. But that's entirely different. That's something that has way more ramifications than it does to take a losing trade. Okay? Because a losing trade is not murder unless you murder your account by over leveraging. There you have it. Elite level trading, elite level, whatever you want, okay? You have to have a willingness, and this kind of goes in order, a willingness to learn, aka coachability. You have to follow the rules. You need to build discipline, right? Manage risk, take good trades, all the 48 laws, right? Number 3, you got to build that experience. There's no shortcuts. There's a little bit of expediting, but you don't just jump straight to the GOAT, okay? That doesn't work. Number 4 is you got to focus. Stop multitasking. Put away the distractions, okay? And confidence. Confidence through winning. Confidence through discipline, right? Confidence in knowing that whatever happens, it's okay. It's part of, losses are part of the plan. Wins, hey, that's great too. But you cannot get into a trade without at least some level of confidence, or we could even change that to courage too, right? Not recklessness, not cowardice, but right in the middle. Courage. All right. So with that being said, that is going to be it for today. Right? Look at that silver, baby. Look at that fucking silver, dude. Look at that. Printing Corvette candles, aren't we? Aren't we, chat? Look at that. Ain't that a good way to end a live stream on elite status by showing you some elite shit? Hate me all you fucking want. You can hate me all you want. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. It doesn't bother me one fucking bit. Doesn't bother me at all. So that's all I got. If you guys have any questions, you can put them in the chat. But that's it. Welcome back, Mason. Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate that. I'm glad at least one person liked it. I got a few likes on the stream. Drop a like if you haven't liked it already. If you got some value today. If I didn't give you any value at all, then don't like it. But I'm giving you the keys, man. I'm giving you the keys. All right? And that's all. So it was a great week across the board, not just in metals, not just in stocks, not just in index futures. It's a banger all around. It's a good day. And people will still find a way to complain or something to criticize. Don't ever be that person, because it's never a good look. All right? Be good, be blessed. I will see you again on Market Maker Monday on July 14th. All right? Have a good weekend. Be blessed, and don't do anything stupid. I'll see you then.
What do you know? and don't